Hello friends. Imagine a soul forged from fire and thunder, born under the blazing sun of Leo and galloping with the wild spirit of the Chinese horse. This is no ordinary personality profile, this is a cosmic cocktail of charisma, courage, complexity, and contradiction. People born under the Leo zodiac sign in the year of the horse are natural-born powerhouses. They dazzle. They demand. They don't do average. So what makes this astrological combo so unique? Let's dive deep into the fire and freedom of these magnificent creatures, and explore their lives through love, sex, marriage, friendship, business, shadows, and dreams. Love, passion on fire. Love for a Leo horse is not casual. It's not a gentle stroll in the park or a slow-burn connection built quietly over time. No, love for a Leo horse is an event, an electrifying encounter, a full-blown production, and sometimes even an emotional spectacle. It's the kind of romance that dominates the room, turns heads, and sends shockwaves through their inner world. They don't date, they fall hard and fast, with every fiber of their being. And they expect nothing less in return. They believe love should feel like destiny, like fire meeting gasoline. To them, a connection without intensity is hardly worth having. Love is either a brilliant supernova or it's not love at all. In relationships, Leo horses live for the big emotions. Passion, excitement, risk, these are the elements they thrive on. They don't want lukewarm feelings or safe commitments. They want to be worshipped, adored, desired, and in return, they offer the same with dramatic flair. Grand romantic gestures. Yes. Late-night confessions of eternal devotion. Absolutely. They're not just lovers, they're romantics in the most cinematic sense of the word. When they love you, they show it, shout it, and set the world on fire with it. But this intensity also means they can be volatile when hurt. Wounds cut deep, and they rarely forget betrayal. What drives this intensity is not just their Leo pride but also the wild independence of the horse. Together, these two signs create a person who is both regal and untamed. They have a deep-rooted need to feel emotionally stimulated and spiritually aligned with their partner. Physical attraction alone won't hold their attention. They want someone who challenges their mind, stirs their ambition, and rides at their pace. In love, they seek a mirror and a muse, someone who reflects their brilliance and inspires their next bold leap. Anything less will leave them restless, and restlessness often leads to wandering hearts. Despite their commanding presence and fiery energy, Leo horses are surprisingly sensitive when it comes to love. They may not always say they need reassurance, but they absolutely feel it. They crave sincere connection, deep emotional loyalty, and a partner who isn't afraid to see through the show and touch the soul. But authenticity is non-negotiable. They'll walk away from a perfect romance if it starts to feel fake. They value truth over flattery, even if their ego enjoys both. To be loved by a Leo horse is to be swept into a whirlwind, but to truly stay in that love, one must show up with honesty, courage, and the willingness to stand beside, not behind, them. Sex, a wildfire of desire. The Leo horse is a sensual animal, deeply, unapologetically tuned into the pleasures of the body and the emotional rhythms of intimacy. Their sexual energy isn't just about physical gratification, it's about expression, connection, and power. Born under the blazing heat of Leo and the free-spirited force of the horse, these individuals embody a raw magnetism that can light up a room before they've even said a word. In the realm of sex, they are fearless, hungry, and alive with curiosity. Every touch is intentional, every glance layered with meaning. To them, sex is not a side activity, it's a vital, transformative experience that reflects their innermost desires, self-worth, and identity. They bring fire to the bedroom not because they have to, but because they were born to. Their approach to sex is equal parts confidence and creativity. A Leo horse doesn't just perform, they enthrall. There's a theatrical element to their lovemaking, an unspoken desire to seduce, to entertain, to be remembered. They instinctively know how to use their body, voice, and energy in ways that feel choreographed yet completely spontaneous. Their movements are intentional, but their passion is untamed. And they are incredibly generous lovers. They want their partner to be just as overwhelmed with pleasure as they are, if not more. Their ego is tightly intertwined with their ability to satisfy. When they see their partner completely undone, lost in the moment, that's the fuel that keeps them burning brighter. But this isn't about shallow passion. What elevates their sexuality is the emotional undercurrent that runs through every encounter. They're not interested in mechanical experiences or going through the motions. What turns them on most is energy, the type of vibe that crackles between two people who are totally tuned into each other. Passive, uninterested partners are a total buzzkill. They can sense detachment from a mile away, and it deflates their entire desire. But if you meet them with curiosity, if you flirt like it's a language, if your gaze says, "Catch me if you can," now you've unlocked something primal. Challenge excites them. Mutual discovery thrills them. And emotional risk? That's where the real fire starts. They have a love-hate relationship with routine. At first, they may lean into patterns, familiarity can be comforting, but the moment it starts to feel like obligation instead of desire, their fire dims. They thrive on unpredictability, fantasy, and new emotional landscapes. Role play, new settings, spontaneous experiences, these are the things that keep them intrigued. Sex with them isn't supposed to be safe, it's supposed to be an adventure. If the bedroom starts to feel like a script they've already read, they'll mentally check out, or worse, physically seek excitement elsewhere. Their loyalty in sex is tied to emotional engagement. When their mind is stimulated, their body follows, and their commitment deepens. And yet, beneath all this fire and flair, there's a deeply intimate layer to their sexual being. The Leo horse may present as dominant and in control, but they are also deeply moved by moments of emotional surrender. True connection, where both partners are emotionally exposed, where vulnerabilities are shared without shame, is what ultimately leaves them breathless. After the fire, they want warmth. After the passion, they crave closeness. If you can give them space to be wild and space to be seen, you won't just satisfy them, you'll unlock a kind of loyalty and depth they rarely share with anyone. Because for all their confidence and showmanship, the Leo horse is searching for something real. Sex may be the stage, but love is the story they're hoping to write. Marriage, fire needs fuel. Marriage for a Leo horse is more than just a union, it's a production, a partnership, and a personal mission. They see marriage not as the end of romance, but the beginning of an even grander, deeper story. Their vision of a lifelong commitment is as passionate as it is purposeful. They want a love that shines, but also one that stands. There's a theatrical aspect to how they love in marriage, they want the world to see their joy, to feel the spark between them and their partner. But underneath the spotlight is something very real, the need for connection that lasts. They crave a marriage that grows with them, shifts as they evolve, and refuses to be dull. A Leo horse in marriage wants to wake up each day feeling lucky, not trapped. They want to be seen not only as a spouse but as someone's favorite person in the world. The daily fabric of their ideal marriage is woven from laughter, admiration, physical closeness, and shared ambitions. They don't do well in partnerships where things go unspoken or where romance is taken for granted. Leo horses need to feel the love, not just assume it's there. That means random kisses in the hallway, compliments that actually mean something, and late-night talks where dreams are planned like secret missions. They love building something with their partner, whether it's a family, a home, a business, or just a really damn good life. But their commitment to growth doesn't only apply to the marriage itself, it applies to both people in it. They want a partner who is constantly evolving, someone who reads, learns, creates, and keeps them on their toes. When they marry, it's not just for companionship. It's for a legendary alliance. Yet, for all their devotion, the Leo horse demands one essential thing in marriage: freedom. This isn't about disloyalty, it's about oxygen. They need the space to be themselves, to explore their interests, to sometimes just ride solo without having to explain why. If their partner tries to clip their wings, through control, jealousy, or emotional dependence, the Leo horse will start to pull away. Their ideal spouse is someone who understands the paradox: the more freedom they feel, the more love they give. Independence is sexy to them. They admire strength in their partner, not submissiveness. A Leo horse falls deeper in love with someone who is confident on their own, who has their own goals, and who doesn't get lost in the relationship. They want to build something with you, not lose either of you in the process. And yes, arguments will happen, loudly. The Leo horse feels everything at maximum volume. Their emotions are full color, full speed, and sometimes full drama. If something hurts, it erupts. They don't do silent treatments or subtle shade. If there's a problem, expect a scene. But here's the catch: they also resolve quickly. They fight hard because they care hard. Their goal isn't destruction, it's clarity. If the love is real, they'll apologize, reflect, and move forward. They're not built for long grudges or emotional ice ages. They're built for fire and forgiveness. And don't underestimate their romantic memory. They never forget an anniversary, a special moment, or the way you made them feel on your wedding night. They want to keep that spark alive, year after year. Romance is their native language, and marriage is just the canvas. The Achilles heel in this blazing marital portrait: the Leo horse's ego. Their pride is monumental, it's what gives them courage, but also what can block vulnerability. If they feel criticized, unappreciated, or unseen, their inner lion roars, not always in constructive ways. When ego takes the wheel, intimacy stalls. They might become defensive, self-righteous, or emotionally distant. That's why emotional honesty is critical. They need a partner who isn't afraid to gently but firmly call them out, who helps them find their humility without shame. When approached with love instead of judgment, the Leo horse softens. And once that emotional armor comes down, what remains is a deeply loyal, fiercely protective, and endlessly devoted partner who will do everything in their power to make the marriage not only work, but thrive. At its best, marriage with a Leo horse feels like a world of your own. A mix of warmth, wildness, humor, and high hopes. A kingdom where two strong people rule side by side, not over each other, but with each other. They want to write a marriage story that's filled with spontaneous adventures, passionate arguments that end in laughter, and a kind of partnership that inspires others to believe in lifelong love. The fire never dies, it just finds new things to light. Friendship, ride or die. Friendship with a Leo horse is not a background subplot, it's a starring role in a high-energy, emotionally rich story filled with intensity, loyalty, and unforgettable moments. These are the friends who sweep into your life like a summer storm, warm, electric, and impossible to ignore. They have an effortless charm that makes people gravitate toward them, but unlike many social butterflies, Leo horses are discerning. They're not interested in surface-level connections or casual acquaintances. They're searching for real bonds, friendships that are rooted in truth, resilience, and shared fire. Once you're in their inner circle, you're not just a friend. You're chosen family. And they will go to great lengths to keep you close, to lift you up, and to make your life a little more magical every single day. Their friendship style is full of surprises, spontaneous road trips, last-minute party invitations, deep 2 a.m. conversations under the stars. Leo horses thrive on shared experiences, and they pull you into their world with infectious enthusiasm. They don't just want to hang out, they want to create memories. Whether it's dancing barefoot at a music festival or binge-watching old movies with homemade snacks, they have a knack for turning ordinary moments into mini celebrations. Being friends with a Leo horse feels like constantly being reminded that life is meant to be lived, boldly, unapologetically, and in good company. And they don't just bring the fun, they bring the fire. Their energy lifts people. When you're around them, you're reminded of your potential, your value, your spark. They are drawn to people who possess integrity and courage. Leo horses have no time for phoniness or passive-aggressive behavior. They value friends who speak honestly, laugh loudly, and stand tall in who they are. If you're the kind of person who shows up fully, they'll meet you there with open arms and open heart. But beware, betrayal is the deal-breaker. Trust, once broken, is nearly impossible to rebuild. These fiery souls don't forgive easily when it comes to disloyalty or deception. If you hurt them or lie to them, the bond burns to ashes. But if you stand by them, defend them when they're not in the room, and show loyalty when it counts, you've earned a ride-or-die friend who will back you forever. Their loyalty is ferocious. They won't let anyone mess with you without going full lion mode. Their protectiveness is intense and instinctual. The Leo horse doesn't need to be asked to defend a friend, they'll do it automatically, passionately, and sometimes dramatically. If someone insults you, betrays you, or even subtly disrespects you, you may not need to lift a finger, your Leo horse friend will already be halfway through their defense speech. They are guardians of their chosen tribe, and while they love attention and applause in many areas of life, when it comes to friendship, they don't seek praise for their loyalty. It's just who they are. But here's the thing, they expect loyalty back. If they go to war for you, they want to know you'd do the same. Not because it's a test, but because their entire approach to friendship is built on mutual devotion. While their energy can be wild and sometimes overwhelming, their emotional depth is profound. Friendship with a Leo horse isn't just about fun, it's about meaning. These are the friends who remember the little things you said in passing weeks ago. They show up with coffee when you're feeling low. They cheer the loudest when you win and sit with you when you lose. Their emotional intelligence runs deeper than people expect, and they have a gift for making others feel seen. If you need someone to remind you of your strengths when the world feels heavy, call your Leo horse friend. They will hype you up with sincerity, not fluff. They don't flatter, they affirm. And when they say you're brilliant, brave, or beautiful, they mean it from the bottom of their golden heart. In the end, friendship with a Leo horse is not for the faint-hearted. It's high-octane, emotionally charged, fiercely loyal, and always evolving. These friends will challenge you, surprise you, celebrate you, and protect you like a sacred treasure. They'll push you to be better, not because they're trying to change you, but because they see your potential and refuse to let it go unseen. Their presence in your life is a constant reminder that you're not alone, and that no matter how tough things get, someone out there believes in you with the force of fire and the speed of a gallop. When you ride with a Leo horse, you never ride alone. Business, bold moves and big visions. In the business arena, Leo horses walk in like they own the place, and within a few months, they might. Their presence is commanding, their instincts are sharp, and their hunger for success burns hotter than most can handle. They are born leaders, not manufactured ones. The combination of Leo's royal charisma and the horse's unstoppable drive creates an entrepreneur-warrior hybrid, someone who dreams big, moves fast, and dares to take center stage. They don't follow industry norms, they reinvent them. Whether they're launching a brand, leading a creative team, or building an empire from scratch, Leo horses thrive where there's a challenge, a spotlight, and a chance to make something that leaves a mark. They don't just work, they perform, and that performance fuels real results. At the heart of their success lies a vision, big, bold, and often ahead of its time. Leo horses are not content to do what's been done. They crave innovation, disruption, and the thrill of carving their own path. They're not driven solely by money, though they certainly enjoy it, they're fueled by impact and identity. They want their work to reflect who they are, original, powerful, and unforgettable. This is why they're naturally drawn to industries where creativity meets leadership, entertainment, media, design, branding, fashion, entrepreneurship, tech startups. In these environments, they're not just productive, they're unstoppable. They don't just want to succeed, they want to define what success looks like. But there's a catch: they can't thrive in a cage. Structure is fine, but bureaucracy? Death sentence. They hate endless meetings, rigid hierarchies, or being micromanaged. Give them a rigid system, and they'll either try to change it or leave. They need freedom to create, space to make bold moves, and enough autonomy to trust their gut without constant oversight. The more trust you give a Leo horse, the more they rise to the occasion. In fact, their best work often comes when they feel seen and respected, when they know their talents are acknowledged and their voice matters. Recognition isn't just ego food for them, it's fuel. When they feel appreciated, they produce magic. When they feel stifled, they bolt. Part of what makes them so magnetic in business is their charisma and communication skills. They don't just sell ideas, they make people believe in them. Whether they're pitching to investors, rallying a team, or speaking at a conference, Leo horses know how to hold attention and command a room. Their confidence is contagious. People want to work with them, for them, and alongside them. They inspire movement, not with authority, but with vision. Their natural showmanship blends seamlessly with business savvy, making them especially effective in marketing, PR, branding, and leadership roles where persuasion and presence are power tools. They don't intimidate their audience, they invite them to dream bigger. That's their gift. But with all that firepower comes a wild card: impulsiveness. The same instincts that help them spot golden opportunities can sometimes lead them to leap before they look. They trust their gut, which is often right, but not infallible. Their confidence can sometimes veer into overconfidence, and without the right checks and balances, they may make decisions that are too fast, too risky, or too emotionally charged. This is where the right business partner becomes essential. They don't need a wet blanket, they need a strategic stabilizer. Someone who respects their fire but knows how to ground it. A good partner can challenge their thinking, slow them down just enough to assess the terrain, and help turn their sparks into sustainable flames. Ultimately, business for a Leo horse isn't just a job, it's a stage, a proving ground, and a personal revolution. They want to do work that matters, build things that last, and lead people who believe. They chase excellence not for the applause but because they genuinely believe in greatness, and they want to embody it in every role they take on. Give them a vision, a mission, and the room to run, and they'll build something extraordinary. Just make sure to step back and let them lead. Because when a Leo horse is unleashed in the world of business, they don't just participate in the market, they change it. Dark sides, the shadows of the fire horse. Now let's get real. Every hero has a flaw. Every flame, no matter how beautiful, casts a shadow. And when it comes to the Leo horse, their darkness can be just as intense as their light. They are dazzling, yes, born to lead, to love, to inspire, but when their fire isn't managed carefully, it can scorch everything around them. Their greatest traits, like charisma, confidence, and ambition, have darker twins: vanity, arrogance, and an overwhelming need for control. These aren't small flaws tucked away beneath the surface. When triggered, these traits show up loud and unfiltered, turning the magnificent Leo horse into a difficult, sometimes destructive force of nature. This is the part of them most people don't talk about, but must be understood. The first shadow is ego, a double-edged sword they carry into every room. On one hand, it fuels their belief in themselves and drives them toward greatness. On the other, it's a fragile pedestal that can crack under criticism, rejection, or failure. When their ego is inflated by praise and success, it can morph into entitlement. They may start demanding attention, expecting admiration, and dismissing others' contributions. The warmth that once drew people in turns into arrogance that pushes them away. And when their ego isn't fed, when they feel unseen, unappreciated, or overlooked, they don't shrink quietly. They act out. Sometimes, they mask their insecurity with bravado. Other times, they spiral into performative confidence, putting on a show to avoid facing the feeling of not being enough. The fire inside them doesn't go out, it turns inward, consuming their own sense of peace. Another difficult truth: they burn bridges fast. Leo horses are fiercely loyal, and they expect that same loyalty in return. But their definition of betrayal can be strict, sometimes unfairly so. A small slight, a missed call, a perceived disloyalty, a misunderstood comment, can trigger a dramatic response. Once they feel betrayed, they rarely revisit the relationship. For them, trust is sacred, and once it's broken, there's rarely a second chance. They may ghost, explode, or ice someone out completely. And while they believe they're just protecting themselves, they can leave a trail of broken connections behind. Their standards for friendship and loyalty are sky high, but their forgiveness threshold far lower. It's a painful irony: they want deep connections, but their unforgiving nature can sabotage the very closeness they crave. Their intensity can also be overwhelming. What makes them magnetic in crowds, energy, passion, drive, can become draining in close quarters. They dominate conversations, spaces, and even emotions. People may find themselves emotionally exhausted trying to keep up or struggling to get a word in. The Leo horse doesn't always recognize this. They assume that others are riding the same high, sharing their pace and passion. But not everyone can match their energy, and when those around them falter or step back, the Leo horse might take it personally, seeing it as rejection or laziness rather than difference. This can lead to conflict, disappointment, and an ever-widening emotional gap between them and the people they care about most. Then there's their relationship with failure, a word that barely exists in their vocabulary, and when it does, it tastes like poison. Leo horses hate losing. More than that, they fear it. Not because of what failure represents logically, but because of what it threatens symbolically. It shakes their sense of identity. It whispers that they're not as special, strong, or gifted as they believed. So, instead of confronting failure head-on, they may pretend everything's fine. They'll mask their pain, deflect blame, or jump into a new project before dealing with the emotional fallout of the last one. This move fast, feel later approach can leave unresolved emotions buried deep, where they fester into frustration or burnout. They'll smile through a crisis, crack jokes at their own expense, and keep performing, even as they break quietly beneath the surface. And perhaps their greatest challenge is learning to let go of the spotlight. To not always lead, win, or sparkle. To be okay with being part of the chorus instead of the star. This goes against every natural instinct they have, but it's also the very thing that unlocks their growth. The Leo horse must learn that true power isn't always loud. That strength can be quiet. That value isn't always measured in applause. Sometimes, the most courageous act is vulnerability. Sitting still. Letting someone else shine. Accepting love without earning it through performance. It's in these quieter, humbler moments that the Leo horse discovers their most grounded, authentic self, the part that doesn't need to impress because it already knows it's enough. In the end, the Leo horse is not perfect, but their imperfections are part of what makes them real. Their shadow is not something to fear, but something to understand. When they acknowledge their flaws, own them without shame, they become not only powerful but wise. Because a Leo horse who's tamed their fire doesn't burn people. They light the way. Life goals, the fire that drives them. The life goals of a Leo horse aren't modest checkpoints, they're epic quests. These are individuals born to pursue greatness with unshakable conviction and a kind of intensity that makes even the most ambitious among us look tame. Leo horses don't just want to exist, they want to resonate. Their dreams are rarely small or safe. Whether they envision building an empire, transforming an industry, becoming a public voice for change, or leaving behind art that lives long after they're gone, they are determined to leave footprints in time. Every choice they make is guided by a powerful inner fire that whispers, "Make it matter." To them, life isn't a journey to be survived, it's a legacy to be forged. Their version of success is never just about getting ahead. It's about becoming unforgettable. From an early age, Leo horses often feel the stirrings of a larger purpose. They may not know exactly what form their destiny will take, but they feel its presence like a calling in their bones. They're not content with blending in or living quietly in the background. They crave expression, recognition, and impact. And yet, what sets them apart is not just their ambition, it's their relentless commitment to meaning. Money alone is never enough to satisfy their hunger. They want their lives to stand for something. Whether it's championing justice, creating beauty, solving problems, or empowering others, they want to wake up every day knowing they are living fully, fiercely, and intentionally. They're not just building careers, they're building stories worth telling. In their professional lives, they often find themselves gravitating toward roles where they can shape culture, spark innovation, or influence others. Artists, entrepreneurs, activists, visionaries, these are natural expressions of their bold spirit. But the truth is, they could thrive in almost any field, as long as it gives them room to create, lead, and inspire. They are not driven by external validation alone. Although they love applause, they are fueled by the idea that their work can touch lives, spark movement, or open minds. They dream not just of success, but of significance. And when they find a mission that aligns with their heart, there is no stopping them. They'll work tirelessly, obsessively even, pushing past limits most people fear, because to them, mediocrity is more terrifying than failure. What truly defines success for a Leo horse is a unique formula: influence plus purpose plus freedom. They need all three to feel truly alive. Influence gives them a sense of power and relevance. Purpose gives their life emotional depth. Freedom allows their soul to breathe and evolve. Take any one of these away, and they start to suffocate. A Leo horse who feels confined, whether in a toxic job, a stagnant routine, or a relationship that dulls their light, will eventually rebel. That rebellion may be sudden or slow burning, but it's inevitable. You can't cage a creature built for wild success. You can't mute a voice designed to be heard. Give them autonomy, a goal with heart, and room to grow, and you'll see them move mountains. Their personal goals often mirror their professional ones: bold, emotional, and deeply personal. They want to build a life that feels expansive and exhilarating. That might mean traveling the world, writing a novel, becoming a thought leader, mentoring the next generation, or founding a company that changes how people live. They want to experience love, loss, victory, and vulnerability in full technicolor. They don't do average in any category of life. Their relationships, their choices, even their style, it all reflects a desire to feel deeply and leave something lasting. They'd rather fail gloriously than succeed safely. And though their paths are rarely easy, they wouldn't have it any other way. For the Leo horse, ease is not the goal, elevation is. In the grand story of life, Leo horses are not the extras or the side characters. They are the ones chasing the horizon, daring to live with passion, intensity, and fearless intention. They might stumble, overextend, or burn out from time to time, but they will never settle. Their fire may flicker in hard times, but it never truly dies. Because deep down, they carry a sacred responsibility, to themselves, to their gifts, and to the world, to rise up and create something that matters. And when they finally do, when they align that roaring fire with a purpose that speaks to their soul, they don't just succeed, they ignite everything around them. In conclusion, the Leo horse is a force of nature dressed in charisma, fueled by instinct, and wrapped in contradictions. They are both a spectacle and a mystery, fierce in presence, yet tender in the spaces where it matters most. Outwardly, they are bold and electrifying, commanding attention the moment they enter a room. But beneath that confidence lies a quieter struggle, an internal dialogue shaped by self-doubt, sensitivity, and the constant pressure to live up to their own myth. They shine so brightly that others often forget they, too, need reassurance, rest, and safe spaces. Their journey is one of balancing strength with softness, leadership with humility, and performance with authenticity. To understand a Leo horse is to recognize that behind every confident roar is a soul that feels deeply and constantly searches for purpose, connection, and truth. They are unforgettable, not because they try to be, but because they simply are. There's something unmistakable about their energy, something magnetic, larger than life, and fiercely real. Their presence is visceral. When a Leo horse is in the room, you don't just notice them, you feel them. They influence the temperature of a moment, the tone of a conversation, the direction of a decision. And it's not just about charisma, it's about impact. Whether they're challenging norms, lifting someone's spirit, pushing for progress, or simply showing up with unshakable belief in what could be, they leave a mark. Sometimes it's inspiring. Sometimes it's overwhelming. But it's always undeniable. They were never meant to be wallpaper. They're the ones who tilt the axis of any space they occupy. And yes, they're not always easy. They come with fire, with speed, with volume. They challenge comfort zones. They ask for more, from others, and from themselves. But the payoff is profound. To be close to a Leo horse is to experience life more vividly. They bring color to gray moments. They turn dinner into a celebration, failure into fuel, and relationships into legend. Their loyalty is bone deep. Once they choose you, you're chosen. Once they commit, they're all in. They may not always say it the right way, but their actions speak volumes. They'll fight for you, celebrate you, protect you, and push you to rise. They are your biggest fan and your most honest mirror. And that kind of friendship, love, or partnership is rare, and absolutely priceless. If you are a Leo horse, own it. Don't shrink to make others comfortable. Don't apologize for your power or your passion. Your intensity is not too much, it's your magic. You are not meant to be understood by everyone, and that's okay. You are not made for the background. You are built to lead, to feel, to express, and to create in ways that shift perspectives and move people. Let yourself evolve, but never dull your flame. Your energy, when aligned with purpose and emotional wisdom, can light up not just your own path, but the way for others. Remember, your worth isn't tied to performance. It lives in your courage to be, boldly, unapologetically, and completely. And if you know or love a Leo horse, consider yourself lucky. You've been invited into the orbit of someone whose very existence is an act of creation. Support their dreams, challenge their ego with kindness, celebrate their wins loudly, and hold space for their vulnerabilities quietly. Don't try to contain them, trust them. They are not here to fit molds or follow scripts. They are here to blaze trails, in business, in relationships, in the way they love, lead, and live. And when they do, they don't just change the room, they change the world.